My sister is 18 months older than me. She watched over me like a hawk when we were growing up. Like a little mother. I can always remember her dancing in the living room as we put on the newest Monkey record or the Beatles or the Dave Clark 5. And she danced like an angel. About 25 years ago, she was diagnosed with MS. This episode is dedicated to her and all that suffer.
What is MS? MS is a condition that affects the brain and spinal cord. It's caused by a mixture of genetic and environmental factors. It's no one's fault. The nerves in our body have a coating called myelin that protects them and helps them send messages quickly between the brain and the rest of the body. In MS, our immune system attacks myelin by mistake, treating it like an infection. When myelin is damaged, the messages traveling along the nerve become distorted, or they don't get through at all. Our nerves control everything we do, so MS can affect how you see, move, think, or feel. There are two main forms of MS. The first is relapsing MS, where you'll usually have times of stability in between flare-ups or relapses. After a relapse, symptoms may ease or go away completely. The second is progressive MS, where your symptoms accumulate over time without relapses. Early symptoms might be subtle problems with walking and may come on slowly. There are treatments for relapsing MS. They can mean fewer and less serious relapses and less disability in the future. Most people with progressive MS don't currently have access to treatments, but you can manage some symptoms through medicines, exercise, and physiotherapy. Research happening right now is bringing us closer to treatments that slow or stop disability progression for everyone. The most important thing is, if you're living with MS or know someone who is, you're not alone. We're here for you.
In our morning rounds, a new approach to fighting multiple sclerosis, the disease where the body attacks its own central nervous system. MS affects about 400,000 people in the U.S. It is 2 to 3 times more common among women. Current treatments may have severe side effects, and there is no cure. Our Dr. Tara Narula shows us a cutting-edge but low-tech attempt to slow the symptoms. Good morning.
Good morning. It involves the diet and the microbiome, bacteria that live mostly in our digestive tract, unique to us as a fingerprint. Research now underway at New York's Mount Sinai Hospital is studying how food might be used as medicine to combat the disease.
We'll just go around and hear an update from everyone.
Once a month, this pioneering group of MS patients meets to get tips from a nutritionist.
When grains are refined, they're stripped of this outer layer.
And share their temptations.
I was craving a hamburger or something terrible the other night.
They had lobster crabs, and there was just no way I was going to pass that off.
Neurologist Ilana Katz-Sand is leading one of the first clinical trials to study the link between what we eat, gut bacteria, and MS symptoms. Why did you decide to investigate diet and its link to MS?
The gut is actually kind of a natural place to look, and that's because the immune system, about 70% of it, lives inside the gut and has far-reaching implications throughout the rest of the body.
In MS, inflammation occurs when immune cells attack the brain and spinal cord. This study is testing whether a dietary intervention can reprogram the immune system to slow down the assault on itself.
So this right here is a very typical looking spot for MS.
Corinne Providence and the other patients enrolled in the trial are following a strict Mediterranean-style diet. No processed food, dairy, or meat, but lots of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains.
Why did you choose that type of diet?
We think that those are anti-inflammatory, and we also think that they're neuroprotective.
Symptoms like fatigue, difficulty walking, vision problems, and cognitive changes can be severe and disabling.
But it can take a very heavy toll on patients.
I was really fearful because, I have a family, I have my children, I have my husband, and I felt like as if my life would just be over.
With the help of medication, Corinne is still able to work nights as an oncology nurse, 4 years after her diagnosis.
Have a pleasant day.
For her, sticking to the diet is a small sacrifice for better health.
No chocolate chip cookies, no dairy, no vanilla ice cream that I love so much. But if I can participate in a diet that can change my life, give me longevity, give me a piece of how I was before, I don't mind.
Thank you for everything. You're welcome.
This is a small study of about 30. It will be 6 months before researchers know if the diet has any measurable impact on MS symptoms, though some in the group already report more energy. Researchers are also looking at quality of life, blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight loss.
I didn't know what MS was, so I had no clue. When my neurologist told me, the first question that I had for him was, is it terminal? He said no, people can live good lives with it. It causes mobility issues, something you'll have to live with for the rest of your life. So I was like, okay, it was the better of the news, that it wasn't terminal. Once I looked up and saw that people were using diet to help them out, I think that's when I decided, okay, let me at least try that, because if I can control some things, I might as well do everything that I can. After I graduated college, I ended up moving in with my sister, and she really helped me change my diet around. We focused on organic stuff, less processed foods, less processed sugar. What I notice now is that when I eat those things, I have negative effects. I feel sluggish, my mobility gets worse, I walk slower. I decided to get a personal trainer because my mobility is worsening. The personal trainer that I chose, they also had a nutritional plan with it, so I felt like that would be helpful as well.
So Janae and I were talking, and she mentioned the fact that she had MS. We don't specialize in that, but we specialize in her mindset, which is really, I want to enhance my quality of life. We just needed to make healthy food as simple as it would be for her to order takeout, and making everything systemized so that if she spends an hour or two on Sunday prepping everything for the week, then day to day, everything's there.
Standing in the kitchen, I have about a good hour on my feet before my legs really get fatigued. So if I get everything prepared beforehand, then it'll be easy just to put the meal together and cook it.
We took one meal at a time, so we went with breakfast. And so what we did was we had her make a smoothie. The term actually we use for these smoothies is feel your very best. So it's fruit, yogurt, vegetable, and a berry. And she can start her day off in a great way, getting all those nutrients she needs.
Donnie let me know that there are different smoothie recipes, which I'm excited about. That's something easy to take for breakfast, keep the hunger down. Now working full-time, I'm really tired when I get home. A change in diet really does help a lot of patients with MS. So I hope that it'll improve my symptoms, eating better and not spending as much energy cooking and things like that. That's what I'm hoping for, and to ease my life a little bit.
One of the things that I've changed since I've been diagnosed with MS is I don't eat as many sweets as I used to, definitely. I eat a lot of fresh veggies and fruits every day. Just try to eat a low-fat diet and just watch my sugar intake and just drink a lot of water.
We've changed our diet in our house, so it's a little bit stronger in vegetables, and we cut down the carbs and cut down a lot of the meat. And I no longer drink any kind of Cokes or Pepsis or anything like that. It's usually sparkling water or water.
The biggest thing we did was cut out sugar, also eating as much whole foods as possible. I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat a lot less like red meat than I used to, and try and eat lean proteins.
A lot of questions come about what is the right diet for multiple sclerosis. There's no specific diet for MS that has proven to provide any specific benefit, but obviously having a healthy diet is going to improve your health, and it's necessary to keep you feeling well.
Right now, researchers are very actively pursuing what types of diets can be helpful or potentially harmful for people with MS. And until then, when someone hears about a diet, I recommend that they talk it over with their healthcare provider to make sure that it's safe and something that would be useful to try. Often we default to saying, well, a heart-healthy diet. So what we mean by that is a diet that's balanced, meaning it has adequate protein, carbohydrates, fats. It's not high in one of those areas, but it's balanced. We want a diet that's lower in concentrated sweets and sugars, high in fiber content, adequate fluid intake, adequate fresh fruits and vegetables, one that avoids processed foods. So if someone has mobility issues, being overweight can just compound that problem and make it more difficult to get up out of a chair, to walk a distance, to move when there's compromised function or compromised lower extremity function, for instance. There have also been some studies looking at people who have MS and who are overweight, and demonstrating that they have more inflammation and even more MRI activity.
Weight is always going to be a challenge. It's very important to keep it controlled if you possibly can.
Having a diet that's high in fiber is important for bowel function. When someone eats an unhealthy diet, one that's very high in sugars, for instance, they may experience an increase in fatigue level. Eating foods that have low nutritional value, a diet high in fast foods, or what we consider to be junk foods, may also increase someone's fatigue level.
While the information that we have now in the world of MS is insufficient, there are probably some very good other reasons to consider limiting salt intake. And so probably by taking on a diet that has some limitation of salt that would be advocated by your heart doctor as well, you may well be doing a favor for your MS.
For someone who's not getting adequate dietary sources of a particular nutrient, they may need to have a supplement.
I take a vitamin every day, and I also take vitamin D every day, and I have been doing that since around the time I was diagnosed with my MS. My vitamin D was low, and my doctor recommended that because I'm not out in the sun and don't get a lot of sun, that I take vitamin D every day.
Vitamin D is a vitamin that we now appreciate plays some role in the context of MS, at the very least in terms of the risk of developing MS, and research that is coming out more recently increasingly is pointing to vitamin D being relevant also for people who have established MS and may be relevant to the degree of MS activity they have.
Vitamin D level is measured by the blood, and many of us are low on the spectrum of the normal range. And so if individuals are low on that spectrum or lower than the normal level should be, there's recommendation to supplement with oral vitamin D.
When Dan and I decided together that we needed to eat healthier, we started shopping better. We go to more farmers markets, which is just a fun experience anyway. And we have a great time picking out healthy choices. It helps us both. We have been attending nutrition classes every week, and it's a lot of fun. We've learned what herbs and spices are healthy, what fats to use, what not to use. Right now we feel healthier, and we know we're doing the right thing for him.
Changing my diet because of MS has really helped my family a lot. They enjoy eating healthy meals as well. And also, I just try to tell my boys how important it is to eat healthy and to just start young and, just to eat as healthy as possible, to live the best life that you can and to feel better. They enjoy the healthy meals, and they always say, "Mom, is this healthy?" So they paying attention, and I like that.
Bounce that shows a high correlation between saturated fat consumption around the world and rates of MS. The evidence also shows that saturated and altered fats are especially harmful to people with MS. The most prominent person to study the connection between saturated fats and MS was Dr. Roy Swank. Starting in 1949, he tracked 150 patients with MS over 34 years. Half stuck to a diet low in saturated fat, the other half didn't. What did Dr. Swank discover? Those who stuck to the diet and ate on average 16 grams of saturated fat per day were dramatically better off after 34 years than those who didn't in terms of disease progression, relapse rates, and disability levels. In fact, after the first year of the study, those on the low saturated fat diet showed a dramatic 80% decrease in relapse rates. After 5 years, relapse rates dropped 95%. That's one relapse every 20 years. Swank's work is supported by OMS's Holism study results, which review data from over 2,500 participants from 57 countries. The Holism study showed that people with a very healthy fat intake had better quality of life, less relapses, and less disability. But people who lowered their fat intake to only moderate levels did not fare as well. You really need to lower your saturated fat intake a lot. A low-saturated fat diet like the one promoted by Dr. Swank and OMS is by no means extreme. In fact, the most recent American nutritional guidelines suggest that everyone should aim to limit saturated fat on average to less than 22 grams per day. Why all the fuss about fats and MS? Well, fats make up the cell wall, and the types of fats we eat affect the way cells behave in our body. MS is all about inflammation and degeneration of cells, particularly myelin, which is made up of 80 to 85% fat. Different fats have different impacts on our bodies. Saturated fat in meat, dairy, and processed foods, and altered fat in heated oils promotes degeneration and inflammation, exacerbating the symptoms of MS. Polyunsaturated fats like omega-3s are anti-inflammatory and resistant to degeneration, so we recommend focusing on foods high in omega-3s like seafood, fish, flaxseed, etc., and avoiding saturated fat like meat, dairy, and fried or processed foods. We have good evidence that MS is infrequent in places like Japan, where fish, which is high in omega-3, is eaten regularly. More recently, the Holism study results show that people with MS who consumed fish 3 or more times per week had better physical and mental health outcomes and a 50% reduction in relapse rates. Even more compelling, people with MS taking flaxseed oil regularly had over 60% fewer relapses than those who didn't. Therefore, we recommend flaxseed oil as the preferred option for omega-3 supplementation. And now a word about dairy. There is a high correlation between cow milk consumption and MS around the world. It is thought that a certain protein in cow's milk, butyrophyllin, mimics part of myelin, which is thought to initiate the autoimmune reaction in MS and cause an abnormal pro-inflammatory response to dairy in people with MS. Therefore, it's best for people with MS to avoid dairy altogether. So, what should you eat according to the OMS recovery program? For optimal results and health outcomes, we recommend a whole food plant-based diet plus seafood, so fruit, veggies, grains, legumes, soy products, fish, nuts, seeds, and egg whites. Take at least 20 grams of omega-3 daily or 4 teaspoons of flaxseed oil. Avoid saturated and altered fats like meat, dairy, egg yolks, and anything processed. Do not cook with oil unless baking with olive oil at standard baking temperatures, and never heat flaxseed oil.
There are no official dietary guidelines for MS. However, making certain dietary changes may help relieve common MS symptoms such as constipation and fatigue, as well as improve overall quality of life. In short, the guidelines for an MS-friendly diet are similar to an overall healthy, well-balanced diet. However, it emphasizes consuming more plant-based foods and grains. That's because plant-based foods and grains are higher in fiber, vitamins, minerals, and fluid, which can help with MS symptoms such as constipation, fatigue, and bladder dysfunction. In general, eating plenty of fruit, vegetables, grains, and fish may help with managing MS symptoms. A person with MS may eat red meat and dairy in moderation, as current research on their effects is mixed. Foods to avoid: processed meats, such as sausages, bacon, canned meats, and meats that are salted, smoked, or cured. Refined carbs, such as white bread, pasta, biscuits, and flour tortillas. Fried foods, such as French fries, fried chicken, mozzarella sticks, and donuts. Junk food, such as fast food, potato chips, and convenience and frozen meals. Dietary changes that may help include eating more plant-based foods, grains, and fish. In addition, avoiding unhealthy foods may help with managing MS symptoms and potentially slow disease progression. People with MS should avoid certain foods, including processed meats, refined carbs, junk food, trans fat, and sugar-sweetened beverages.